Welcome back, guys. This is part 2 of Alpaca My Bags, and we are talking about really dangerous animals and ones that you might meet abroad. So I'm here with Dan, who just told us about being bit by a fer-de-lance.
Hi.
Okay, so I did a little internet research, as I do. According to The Telegraph, these are the 8 animals most likely to attack you around the world. Nile crocodiles. I think that means they're in the Nile River, like in Egypt. Mm-hmm. But I think all crocodiles are dangerous.
I would assume so.
Have you been to Costa Rica?
I haven't. Actually, so sorry, fer-de-lances, that's where they're usually from.
I was going to say, at one point when I was in Costa Rica, I hiked to this, it was like a hot spring where you could swim, and it was like all locals in the jungle, and we were all in the water, and suddenly these local guys started screaming at people to get out of the water, and then like the snake came up onto the side, and they were all screaming at everyone, being like, stay away, stay away, stay away.
Yeah.
And at the time, like, I didn't know what it was, but it was probably that snake.
Yeah.
I'd imagine.
Actually, could I say one little thing?
Yeah.
So when we did our big trip again, when we went to India and everything, we went to Europe for half the trip, and I was like, okay, like, Europe's great, like, nothing can hurt you in Europe.
Just cows.
Yeah. That's the story, I'm sure. Yeah, so we went to Croatia, and we were doing, like, a tour with all these waterfalls, and I was swimming in the water, and I saw, like, a little head pop up. No. And I thought it was a turtle. No. So I went kind of closer to it.
No,
and it was a snake! It was a snake! And then I slowly kind of just, like, because the biggest thing with me is I'm like, don't panic, just act cool. So I like slowly just kind of like swam away. And then I told Ryan what happened. He was with me, and we ended up Googling like snakes in the area, and it ended up being a poisonous snake. And I was like, why? Like something's following me.
Never
and you got it. Like, you're
it.
recording it now. So if something happens,
we have it on record.
Yeah.
Never swim towards the snake.
I thought it was a turtle.
What if it was a snapping turtle?
True, yeah.
Okay, second animal, hippo. And here's the fun fact about hippos. Colombia has a growing hippo population because when Pablo Escobar died, a bunch of his estate hippos escaped into the wild.
Wow.
Like,
fast fact.
He just had some hippos on his property. Okay, also rhinos. I feel like I knew that. Because don't they, like, charge you?
I knew hippos. Hippos are scary. But yeah, rhinos, definitely.
Gorillas?
Oh, yes.
I don't feel like I've ever heard of someone being attacked by a gorilla, though.
There was that woman that got her face taken off.
What?
Yeah. Have you ever heard of that story?
No.
I don't even... No, he was a chimp. He wasn't even a gorilla.
Was she one of the... Okay, have you heard about those moms in America that adopt chimps when their children leave the house because they need something to nurture?
No.
That's a thing.
I know that my mom told me she was in kindergarten or something, and there was like a little rich boy that she went to school with, and he brought his chimp to class to show everybody. But yeah, no, there's a story of a woman. She owned a chimp, and I think she had him for like a good 10 years or something, and it was like her baby. And he freaked out one day and he attacked her, and he literally ripped off her face. She had a face transplant. Like, he took everything. She went, like, obviously she's blind, but like ripped off her face. And then it like had a huge debate about it. Like, should people own these wild animals?
No.
Yeah.
This is why I don't go near monkeys.
Yeah.
In India, I used to like walk around with a pocket knife because I was so afraid of the monkeys and the dogs. Yeah. Because the dogs would, like, charge us sometimes.
Yeah. There's a guy I follow on Instagram. He went to Koh Phi Phi in Thailand, and they have, like, all the monkeys. And for Instagram, he was taking, like, a video with one of the monkeys, and you can see the monkey attack him. And it just starts biting him, and he's freaking out. And, like, not that, like, he should have been bit, but, like, don't do that. Like, I would never do that.
I never understood why people in Southeast Asia, like, go out of their way to interact with monkeys.
Yeah, no.
It's scary. It's scary stuff. Always get travel insurance. Always.
Yeah.
Just in case.
I was gonna say I learned the hard way, but luckily I didn't.
Yes.
But like after that, I was like travel insurance no matter what.
Yeah, totally. Sharks. Apparently, if you get attacked by one, you're supposed to try to punch it in the nose.
Yeah, I heard that before.
It's just weird to think about sharks having noses. Also, I thought that sharks weren't that dangerous, but I guess they do bite people a lot.
I think from what I understand, it's great whites that are the really dangerous ones, where a lot of them aren't, from what I understand. I don't know.
I don't snorkel, actually, because I'm afraid of sharks.
Yeah. One stat that I heard was more people get killed by coconuts falling onto their head than shark attacks. So I think of it that way.
True. Lions. That seems obvious.
Yeah.
Scorpions. Not all of them are poisonous, so it really depends on the type that bites you. But apparently a scorpion can survive for 1 year after eating one insect.
Wow.
Those things are durable.
Yeah.
When I was in Costa Rica and Guatemala and Nicaragua, actually, I heard about people getting bit by scorpions a lot.
Oh my gosh.
But they're not poisonous most of the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, so my sister got married in Nicaragua. One of the women that was at her wedding had been elsewhere in the country before the wedding and came to the wedding and told everyone about how she'd gotten out of the shower and put the towel around her body and there was a scorpion in the towel.
Oh my gosh.
Ooh, that's a very vulnerable time to be bit by a scorpion.
I just heard something in the news, or I read something the other day, and it said, I think it was like a flight from Calgary to Toronto.
Yes.
Where like a college kid got bit by a scorpion.
It was in her seat.
Oh my God. And how does that happen? Because I think it was within Canada. It was a Canadian flight.
I guess the plane maybe flew like somewhere south and someone brought it. It's
I don't
really
get it.
weird.
How? Like,
okay, this is a gnarly story. When I was in Nepal, I flew from Nepal to Scotland to meet a friend of mine there. And we meet at the Airbnb. Next morning, I go over to my bag and I see this thing scurry away from my bag.
Oh my gosh.
It was a cockroach, literally 2 inches long. And I caught it with a glass and I was like, Philip, like, look at this. And he's like frantically Googling. He's like, I don't think that cockroaches can get this big, like in this climate. Yeah. And then I posted to like an online forum and people were like, you brought it from Nepal.
Oh my god.
It traveled in my luggage and it was crawling away from my luggage.
Oh my gosh.
And those things are durable too. And scorpions are the same way. So I could see how it could survive flying.
I remember we went to Nicaragua. That was my first backpacking trip. And that's what like got me hooked onto traveling. Loved it. We went to Grenada. Like that was one of our stops.
It's beautiful.
And at the time, they were having a really bad bed bug problem, at least when I went.
Yeah.
And they had said, don't put any of your stuff on the ground, elevate everything. We were lucky. I never had any issues. But we met a girl before we went to Grenada, and then we met up with her after. And she had welts all over her body. And she was like, I got bit by bed bugs. And I guess with bed bugs, you could have a really bad reaction. And hers was terrible. And I was like, oh my God, it's so scary. So when we got home, I think I had read or something that like, don't bring any of your luggage into the house just in case. Yeah. So I just remember leaving my luggage outside in the winter for like a day. I was like, the Canadian weather will ruin everything. Yeah. It'll kill all of them.
Yeah. I'm a bad reactor to bed bugs, and we had a streak in Vietnam where everywhere we stayed had bed bugs.
Oh my gosh.
It was like living hell for me because I just can't sleep if I know. And I had welts all over my body. The one thing I won out of the situation was that every hostel refunded me. Because I would go to them and I'd show them. I'd be like, and they'd be like, okay, we'll refund you. So also, that you like, don't like talk.
Vietnam's one of my favorite countries. And I was going to say, like, if anything, you probably didn't get a lot of money back because it's so affordable.
It was like I was getting like $5 back, but you get like Asia brain where you're used to
every dollar
being
counts,
so cheap, and you're like $5 is a lifetime.
Yeah,
like, I can live for 3 days on $5, so it felt like such a victory.
Yeah.
Snakes.
Yeah.
Okay. Of course it's on the list. This article's actually mentioned the fer de lance, and it said that this snake has the power to kill 32 people.
What?
And you
like,
survived.
I don't get it. Yeah. I'll never know
You're
why.
a superhuman.
I don't know. And I actually thought about it. I was like, maybe I'll live forever. Like, maybe it's like Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Like, maybe I have some superpower now.
Yeah. Maybe you just haven't discovered it yet.
Yeah.
Okay, so Flight Network also has an article on this, and I feel like they tapped into, like, way more likely animal encounters. Box jellyfish, which we've touched on.
Yep.
And I actually remember on beaches in Southeast Asia, there would be, like, vinegar stations.
Yeah.
Because if you get attacked by one, you're supposed to pour vinegar on it. Blue-ringed octopus. This one's really scary. It has venom that can kill up to 25 humans within minutes. Wow. And they're actually all over Australian beaches. And I was in Australia and remember seeing signage warning people about them.
And then, correct me if I'm wrong, but it depends on the season. Mm-hmm. Like, certain seasons are worse.
Yes.
Yeah.
Same with jellyfish. Poison dart frog. This frog is tiny and it's bright blue. I think I've learned that if an animal is bright, it's dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything that's really pretty.
It can't really kill you, though, because its venom is excreted through its skin, and it'll only get into your body if you have, like, an open wound. So you could touch one and potentially be totally fine. King cobra. I don't even want to talk about it because it's so scary. Actually,
can I say something? Sorry,
what,
not to cut you off. No, God no. So I was trying to plan a trip, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna quit this next job and travel. But one of the places I wanted to go is Fiji, and in Fiji they have water snakes that live in the ocean. So I was like, okay, like the water thing already, like no, like, you know. But I don't know what snake it was, but it's black and white. So it kind of looks like it's like a movie, Beetlejuice. It's like that Beetlejuice look, which is terrifying. And I have a friend from New Zealand, so I was like, oh, like, have you ever been? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, I'm terrified because I'm hearing about these snakes. And she was like, oh yeah, she's like, they're normal, like you see them all the time, but she's like, they're docile. So even if, like, she's like, you can literally be swimming and it'll go right by you. Nothing will happen, though. They're so docile that you literally would have to, like, punch in the face to be like, attack me. Yeah. But I'm like, with my track record, hell no. And I went on TripAdvisor, and I was like, it must be rare. Like, do you actually see these? And apparently people go and they see a bunch of them when they're snorkeling and stuff. So I was like, Fiji out. Like, no, it's not happening.
It's out for me too now.
Yeah.
My partner's going to be devastated because that's like high on his list.
Well, you've never been bitten by a snake. So.
I just won't swim. I just won't swim. Honestly, I didn't swim in Australia. Yeah. Because that's how scared I was of sharks. Yeah. Anything in the sea, man.
I hear South Africa too. There's great whites in South Africa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't swim there. I'm trying to think if I've had any snake encounters. I did encounter one in where was I? Somewhere in Southeast Asia. It starts with a C.
Cambodia.
I was hiking and I saw something move ahead of me and I thought it was a lizard. That's how big this snake was.
Oh my gosh.
And I was excited. I was like, oh, cool, lizard, and ran towards it, realized it was a snake, and started screaming. And my guide was like a couple feet behind, and he came running up, and he, instead of being afraid for me, was like, wow, that's such a rare sighting. And it was some sort of python, and he was jealous that I had seen it, and I was like, why are you jealous of me? Like, I was close to death.
Well, like, when all this happened to me, too, I was searching fer de lance on YouTube. And people, for a vacation, they go to Costa Rica and stuff, and they hunt them. And, like, they'll kill them, and they'll, like hold them, and they'll, like, slice them open. It's really bizarre.
Ew.
It's bizarre. A lot of people from, like, Texas, like, the southern states, of course. Yeah. And they're just, like, holding these dead snakes. I'm like, A, like, leave them alone. But B, why are you actively, like, trying to go near it? It's bizarre. And then after it happened to me, I was like, I didn't ask for this. Like, you deserve it.
And you're literally seeking it out. Oh, people are crazy.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Dan, for coming on the pod. It was really fun.
Thanks for having me.
Tell us about what your little side project is.
Yeah, so I'm doing a YouTube channel. So basically true crime, conspiracy theories, missing people. So I have 3 episodes out right now. So you could search under Daniel Robert on YT and you'll find my videos. But yeah, I have 3 out now. I'm taking a little break just to focus on some other work, but I'll definitely be back and check it out if you like true crime.
I am so into true crime and I already watched all 3 and
Yay.
I can tell you honestly that you need to watch these.
Thank you.
Thank you, Katie, obviously our producer, for making us sound so profesh like she always does. If you want to get in touch with us, you can find us on Instagram at alpacamybagspod or on our website, alpacamybags.ca. If you like what you're hearing, please let us know by reviewing the podcast. And remember to subscribe while you're at it. Every subscription tells us that you love what you're hearing and it helps us to boost our show on the podcast charts. So please don't be shy. Show us the love. Tune in every other Wednesday for more episodes. I hope you all get to alpaca your bags soon. Just don't go anywhere with snakes. Until next time.